Rise and shine on an overcast morning in Orange, California for a Saturday matinee. The Chapman Panthers are off to their best SCIAC start in 11 years and are hoping to prey upon a conference that's seen last year's top team stumble out of the gates. Meanwhile, the Whittier Poets have written a new stanza in 2025 that has lifted them to the zenith of the SCIAC. It's the Panthers and the Poets right now on CSBN. And welcome upstairs, Nico Schwegler, Michael Herrera, Violet Goody downstairs on the sideline. And Mike, fantastic game we have in store for these two teams. Two of the best in the SCIAC so far, coming off big wins on Wednesday. And these two teams have championship aspirations. What can we expect this morning here in Orange?
Absolutely, Nico. We're still very early on in the conference play. However, we have a very top offense team that leads with shots per game against the team that leads in saving percentage with the Panthers and Poets respectively. It's going to be a great game.
Absolutely. The Poets have been one of the best teams in the entire country for Division III. Top 10 in goal differential. You see it there. 23 goals scored, 3 goals allowed. Panthers not too far behind, but still a little bit of work to do. But they lead the conference at 3-0 so far in conference play. Whittier looking for their second win in conference play here today. Big reason for Whittier's success has been under the direction of Shea Harwell. 2 years ago, they finished dead last. Last year, they were 7th. Currently, they are one of 2 undefeated teams left in overall play in the SCIAC alongside Pomona Pitzer. And a big reason why has been this guy across the pond he comes from London, number 67 on the field, but number 1 in the entire SCIAC. Jake Marks has been on the mark all season long.
Jake Marks absolutely showing why he earned that starting goalkeeper spot out of camp so far. As you mentioned, 3 goals allowed, 2 clean sheets, and 85 saving percentage through 7 games, has 17 saves. He is expected to face a lot of traffic in that box today, as many opponents as the Panthers this year have done. But if there is anyone that can handle it, that is number 67 for the Poets.
Obviously, you need a great person in goal to keep the goals out, but you also need someone who can put them away, and that's exactly what Rowan Slater has done, not just this season, but over the course of his career.
Absolutely, Slater, a senior, trying to make the most out of his final season, and he has done so perfectly. Has already matched his career high in goals in the past 2 years with 5 already throughout 8 games, including the game-winning goal this past Wednesday against Occidental. He is second in SCIAC as far as points on the leaderboards. He's been incredible, and we're talking about this turnaround for the Poets team. He has been at the forefront of it.
The senior captain trying to lead Whittier to their first SCIAC title since the conference started in 2012. Eddie Carrillo, a 2-time SCIAC tournament champion, looking to get Chapman back to the top of the mountain for the first time since 2022. And a big reason for their success has been the recent resurgence of Leo Wells in year number 3 after a standout freshman campaign.
Absolutely, like kind of reference there. He won the Freshman Rookie of the Year for the Chapman Panthers team in 2023. Had a bit of an underwhelming sophomore campaign, but has certainly turned it around. Through 7 games played, has 2 goals, 13 shots. Simply put, Nico, when he's going, this Panthers offense goes with him.
Wells leads an attack that lost Jonah Freeing last year, the top scorer for the Panthers, but they've made up for it in bunches from several different players. But Cormac Galvin on the defensive side has been the one to watch all season long. The senior captain plays the most minutes out of any person on the team. That includes the goalkeeper, Alex Glynn. Shows how important he is to Eddie Carrillo's plans.
When you're talking about leadership for this Panthers team, you cannot fail to mention Cormac Galvin, as you mentioned, leading the team in minutes, but also just leading this defense. Being at the helm, he will not light up the score sheet as far as what you will actually see, but he has proven pivotal and essential to the Chapman Panthers' success so far early on in 2025.
2 top offenses, but probably even better defenses. We mentioned Jake Marks earlier for the Whittier Poets. He's been fantastic with only 3 goals allowed. And for a little bit more on the Whittier number 1, or I should say number 67, let's go down to the field where our very own Violet Goody has a little bit more. Violet?
Thanks, guys. I'm down here on the field, and you can already feel the electricity from the sidelines. It may be early, but the energy is already very high, and you can tell that this matchup means more than just staying undefeated. Now, you guys talked about those key players to keep an eye on today, and we'll be talking a little bit more about Jake Marks, goalkeeper for the Whittier Poets. And he is really somebody to keep an eye on because he has led this team for an undefeated run so far. I had the chance to speak with him ahead of today's game, and he tells me that he credits this strong start to their defensive unit as a whole this season. He also shares that what has really been key for them has been the teams relying on one another and their belief in each other. He also shares that for himself, he has been focused on preparation. So we will certainly see how that preparation is tested by our Chapman Panthers, who are still, again, undefeated here at home. Lastly, he sums it up to say that he is very excited for today's game and that it should be fun, and I certainly cannot agree more. So we will see how this exciting game plays out. I'm Violet Goody reporting down here from the field. Michael and Nico, back up to you in the booth.
No doubt about that, Violet. Chapman looking for their first 4-0 start in the conference since 2014. Whittier looking to stay undefeated here in 2025. Should be a fun one. We'll have all the action coming up right here on CSBN, live on Flow Sports. And welcome back to Wilson Field, a place where the Chapman Panthers have had their success this season. 3 wins, no losses, no draws to open up 2025 at home as the Whittier Poets look for some success of their own. They've really struggled against the Panthers in recent memory. Mike, tell us a little bit more.
Absolutely. They have not won a game against the Panthers since 2021 in their last 5 matchups. They've dropped 4 of them, played to a draw on 1, and across those 5 matchups have only scored 2 goals. And if they want to change the ship today and prove that they are serious contenders for a Sky Championship title this year, they're going to have to take a page out of the Panthers' book and truly apply pressure consistently, and hopefully that their top offense for the Sky League can put something through.
Panthers last year, that one draw you mentioned happened last season. They also got a 1-0 win on the road at Whittier last year, courtesy a goal from Jonah Freeing. Dylan Payne scored in the draw last year for the Panthers at home. Let's take a look at the starting lineups here today, starting off with the Chapman Panthers. Alex Glynn making another starting goal, back-to-back second-team All-Skyac goalkeeper, joined alongside Reed Lineline, Cooper Haley, Connor Kilday, Leo Wells, Alex Vasquez, Evan White, who's been the top scorer all season long with 4 goals, Cormac Galvin, the senior captain, Wesley Jackson, Kobe Lee, the freshman, and rounding it out, Oliver Adams, who's been the standout freshman with 2 goals, 1 assist coming from Berkeley. On the flip side for the Whittier Poets, Jake Marks, who we mentioned, starts in goal once again. Jack Heinmarsh coming out of Sweden, Osvaldo Avalos, Ben Herson, Kevin Bravo, Rowan Slater, the senior captain with 5 goals, 4 assists. Niels de Gardin from Paris, France, coming out with 1 goal, 4 assists. Anthony Dulce, Nicholas Coop, Connor Gilmore, and Nils Lindfors to round it out for Shea Harwell's squad. Certainly a lot of star power out there for both of these teams.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Over half of actually these Poets coming from outside the country. They are a lot from Europe, some from Spain, some from Guatemala. And this very diverse field, this very diverse roster for these Poets has certainly played into their success so far this year.
Whittier to kick things off for us. Jake Marks looking to keep the ball out of the goal once again. Has had a phenomenal year. Only 2 true clean sheets of 90 minutes so far, but only 3 goals allowed in 8 games. This Whittier team has been phenomenal on defense all season long in 2025. And we're underway from Wilson Field. Whittier goes for the long ball off the rip. Alex Vasquez first one to it, and it's out for a Whittier throw. Last time the Panthers played at home, taking a 2-1 win over Laverne. We covered that game last weekend. They got out to a quick start. How do they do that here today against arguably the top team in the SCIAC?
They simply put, got to keep applying pressure. You know, they didn't have to do too much in their past 5 years, in the past 4 years, past 5 games. Facing this Whittier team, obviously this team has a lot more heart, much better team that we're seeing, much better roster. So they're going to have to put some more pedal to the metal, but overall, they don't got to change too much if they want to stand undefeated here today.
Alex Glynn with his first touches on the ball. He has been fantastic once again. Only 1 clean sheet, though, this season. I know that's something that he prides himself on. This defense pride themselves on keeping the ball out of the back of the net. But coming off 3 straight 2-1 victories to begin conference play. Not too shabby, though, if you're Eddie Carrillo and this coaching staff.
Absolutely right, Nico. Glynn, another senior, trying to make the most out of his last season. Truly been a pivotal part of that defense. Again, looking to improve upon his save numbers. And if he can do that today against what is arguably considered the top offense in SCIAC, he will have a more than memorable senior season.
Jack Heinmarsh to take the throw. Slater. They know the threat he poses. 2 white shirts circling around him. That was Oliver Adams, the freshman, as well as Alex Vasquez. Rowan Slater has been phenomenal all season long. 5 goals, 4 assists to be the top point getter in the entire conference through 8 games. Alex Glynn, first one to it. Entering the area not too far away, Anthony Dulce for Whittier, making his 6th straight start of the season. Haley. Wesley Jackson over to Cormac Galvin. On a mistake almost as Alex Glynn comes out clean. Whittier back on the prowl. Haley able to clear for just the moment. The Poets applying pressure here in the first 5 minutes early on. Ball whipped in. Alex Glynn parries away. The Panthers come away unscathed. Also in the background, you'll hear a little bit more whistles. That's not coming from our game with head referee Alexander Netrebchuk. That's actually the water polo game happening behind us here at Z All Red Aquatic Center. 2 games happening in simultaneous action. We'll also see Chapman football taking on Laverne later tonight at 7 p.m. Be sure to join us for that one as The Panthers look for their first win of 2025 after dropping their first two to two fantastic opponents, Hardin-Simmons, ranked number 9, and Linfield, a perennial threat to make the top 25 on any weekend.
If you're Eddie Carrillo right now, you have to be happy with that opening save from Alex Glenn. And Glenn has to be happy with that. Again, like you said, trying to find another clean sheet here, trying to gain some more confidence, and a great start for his game today.
Wells does well to earn a throw-in for the Panthers. Anthony Dulce caught a little bit off guard coming out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Haley. Adams. Gildy. Hindmarsh. And a foot tussle with Evan White. And finally booted away by the Poets on defense.
You mentioned Evan White, Nico, a pivotal part of this Panthers offense, but over the past few games has not been able to put anything through, has 4 goals on the season, of course, to lead the team, but he hasn't scored since September 3rd. He does have 1 assist this season. If they can get the ball to White and he finds a way to score, it will prove pivotal for this Panther success today.
Opportunity for the Panthers. Kildy, 4 white shirts up ahead of the play. Kildy makes a little bit of a mess of it. And the first opportunity for the Panthers goes awry. Kobe Lee was in there to get the steal for the Panthers, another one of these promising freshmen. And over the past 2 seasons, we've seen a youth movement from Eddie Carrillo, really relying on these underclassmen to play big minutes and make the most of their opportunity.
Without a doubt, Nico, not only just not even being on the field, but just being on the bench, providing some depth, great depth that has been able and allowed Carrillo to use the entirety of his roster at his hands. And look what it's done for him so far. They're undefeated in conference.
Haley, back for Galvin. We'll see Galvin wearing that cast on the right hand, but tough as nails he is. Now in his senior season, nothing's going to stop this senior from playing in his captain season. Jake Marks. Said it in the pre-show, number 67 on the field, but number 1 in the conference in goals allowed on average, just total goals allowed, as well as save percentage so far through 8 games into 2025. Slater playing a bit deeper of a rollout for Niels Lindfors. Whipped into the box, no Poets there to retrieve.
Lindfors so far on the season, 306 minutes through 7 games played. He has made 2 goals and 19 shots, with 10 of them being on goal. Again, a key part of this Poets defense has been lending a hand. The Poets, not only as a team, lead the SCIAC in assists, but are one of 3 teams in the SCIAC with 2 players in the top 10, one of them being Rowan Slater, and one of them being Niels Degarin.
Lindfors, one of 7 players on this Whittier squad to come out of Sweden, coming out of the capital Stockholm now in his freshman season. He was held without a shot for the first time all season long against Occidental in their 2-1 win on Wednesday. So after a brief stoppage to allow Alex Glynn to tie his shoes, Reed Lideline back to get us underway here from Wilson. Dulce and Wells in a circus act. And Dulce does well to come away with it. Everyone will see the 23 goals on the stat sheet. A lot of those coming in the first 4 games. They outscored their opponents 18-2 in those first 2 games. Some massive shutouts, including a 6-0 win, a 5-1 win, 4-0. But ever since then, they've slowed down a little bit on the scoring end. But this is one of their first real tests. They had a big one against Oxy on Wednesday. But now going against the top team so far in 2025 in the SCIAC for conference play.
Absolutely, like you mentioned against Oxy, only a 2-1 game. They were able to come out with a win. Obviously, the game-winning shot coming at the hands of Rowan Slater, like we mentioned, a key part of that offense. They will have their hands full with a great Chapman defense. if they can manage to find those guys across the field, to find those guys to get the assists. Simply put, it's going to be hard to stop this Poets line.
Kevin Bravo was lurking around for Whittier. No problems, though, for Alex Glenn. He's been fantastic at being decisive, as that one's picked out of air by Lindfors. Niels Lindfors in behind the defense. Big stop from Glenn. Chapman needed their number one to come up huge, and he certainly did, and now an opportunity on the counter.
Out of the gate, we have seen Lindfors be very aggressive. Like we mentioned in the pre-show, that's what this Poets team is going to need to do to be able to come out here and win a game, the first game against the Panthers since 2021.
You don't usually see Cormac Galvin get beat like that on a straight sprint, but certainly the freshman has that electricity in his game. Oliver Adams, he's had that all season long as well. Kobe Lee. Lee going towards the touchline. Kobe Lee, big save from Jake Marks, and the first opportunity on goal of the game for Chapman. Forces a big one out of Whittier's number 67 across the pond from London.
Just under 10 minutes through in this game, and that was the first bit of true traffic that Marks had. And as you can see here, handled it with ease.
Kobe Lee, we mentioned it earlier, one of those standout freshmen making his third straight start. Don't usually see that for a freshman in conference plays. You take another look at it. Jake Marks, flabbergasted with what his defense was doing there, allowing the freshman to sneak in behind. In-swinger coming in. Passes through everyone. Lee Reed Lideline. That's play catch up with DeGarden. Slater.
Like you were discussing, Jake Marks being flabbergasted by his defense, giving the freshman an opportunity. That's exactly what this youth movement has allowed Eddie Carrillo to do. Just provide depth all over that roster to get a bunch of guys the ball. Guys that the other teams just simply wouldn't expect to have that much carries. And as you can see there, Cody Lee almost coming through with one there.
Wesley Jackson taking off the ball. Jackson with the game winner against Laverne last time Chapman played at home. Beautiful goal off the chest and then volleyed in from outside the 18-yard box. But Niels Lindfors, he has other ideas on his mind to put Whittier on the board first here today. Bravo. Couldn't fend off two as Galvin stuck a foot in there. Big challenge in from Alex Vasquez, forces Lindfors to the ground as he might need a substitution as the trainers come out to the field.
If you're the Poets, that is not what you want to see. You hate to see that just watching the game, but if you're the Poets looking at the freshman, a key part of their offense so far, he's been very aggressive out the gate today. You hope he's okay, but it's certainly, if he's unable to return or even just out for a little bit, does most certainly change the game plan for Shea Harwell.
2 goals in the opening 2 games of this season. Has yet to score ever since. But it looks like he's able to walk off on his own accord. Will stay in the game for the Swedish international. So with just over 10 minutes gone in this one, Mike, what are we looking for out of Whittier on this next ensuing possession?
We're looking for some hard possession. We've seen a lot of back and forth, just a lot of popcorn soccer, really, just to be honest. But that's, as we've seen here, a lot of back and forth. Not a lot of heavy possession from either of these teams. We're going to need to see Whittier keep the ball on their side of the court a little bit longer if they want to consistently apply pressure and put one through.
Haley, a master of the long ball over top. Takes a ricochet, now out to Lideline. Kilday. Ball rolls through to Wells. Evan White there to retrieve for the Panthers in the corner. Got stuck under his feet. And back the other way comes Ben Harrison. One of the senior captains on this team, coming out of Salt Lake City, Utah, like his teammate. Anthony Dulce on that right side.
Harrison, through 7 games played, has started 5 of them. He does have 1 shot on goal and has played 504 minutes. Still looking for a true contribution for this team, but has proved, again, a good pivotal part of that line.
Heavy challenge came in from Jack Hindmarsh. Quarterback Galvin got a little bit stuck in front of the ball. Let's take another look at it. Galvin never one to shy away from a challenge, certainly will put his body on the line as Sergio Ramos-esque type of player in the back line. Marks off of his line.
Another quick change of possession there, like we've mentioned, like we probably will keep mentioning. The key to this, to winning today's game, will be holding position for as long as possible. And so far, neither team has been able to truly command the ball here in this one today.
Long ball from Osvaldo Avalos. Takes a trickle out, coming out of Salinas, California, now near Central California. Hindmarsh, Bravo. Might have been a tad offside. Either way, ends into the safe hands of Alex Glynn in goal. Lideline. What a player he's been for Eddie Carrillo as that ball trickles a little bit past the byline. 2 goals this season already. Had a fantastic year in his freshman campaign with 4 goals, including the game-winning penalty kick against Redlands in the semifinal to send Chapman to that SCIAC final against CMS. I know the players don't necessarily like talking about that game, so I'll just leave it at they lost that game to Claremont Mudscripts, but still a very impressive season for Eddie Carrillo's team. Second place finish. I know they want to get back to the top of the conference for the first time since 2022. Gilmore out for Hindmarsh. Evan White cut out the pass towards Slater. Linford shook off that injury real quickly to get back into the play. Quarter of an hour gone here from Wilson Field. 2 of the top teams in the SCIAC going toe-to-toe. Chapman looking for their first 4-0 start in the SCIAC since 2014. Lideline shot goes up through the uprights. Maybe good for 3 points tonight from Carson Nichols for the Chapman football team, but so far no dice here in men's soccer.
Lideline so far this year has made 2 goals, 4 shots, 3 of them being on goal, but trying to make more of a contribution.
Alexander Netrebchuk allowing that ball to play on a little bit longer. Chapman was asking for the foul. Whittier a little bit displeased with the delayed call, but an excellent opportunity now coming up for the Panthers as Jake Marks has to await. We've seen a plethora of free kick takers from Eddie Carrillo so far this season. Cooper Haley, always a threat. He earned the trust of Eddie Carrillo earlier in his freshman campaign, was one of 2 players alongside top goal scorer Jonah Freeing to take a penalty last season. Evan White currently the one standing over the ball. Also see Leo Wells, Connor Kilday, and Cooper Haley all in on the fray. Kilday takes it just beyond the right post. Another good look for the Panthers off the free kick. One goal, 3 assists for Haley last season in 2024. And he really feels like the engine room of this team. When he goes, the entire team moves at a different pace.
Absolutely, the Seattle native who has gotten a few touches here today, looking for his first goal on the season, trying to get back into a key role for this team. Let's see if he can do so today.
Wells got the head to it first against Harrison, but straight back into Poet's possession. Harrison. Gilmore.
Gilmore, a junior who has started and played in all 8 of the Poets games and has proved to be a key piece of their defense so far this season.
Heinmarsh tried his best Neymar Jr. impression. A few not so friendly shoves given by Rowan Slater as well as Oliver Adams, the freshman for Chapman. These two teams don't like each other very much so far, but this Whittier squad fairly new, a lot of new players for Shea Harwell in year 15. Slater. Ball got whipped up in the air. Desgardins, the Parisian, was there lurking.
And if you're talking about tension between these two teams, you are absolutely right, Nico. Of course, frustration for the Poets for these past 4 years, trying to get back into the winning column against this Panthers team. And of course, a little bit more to fight for in this one today, trying to stay undefeated, trying to prove that they can be serious contenders for a title this year.
Chapman in our historical records with a 7-2-2 record against the Poets. Glynn comes out of his net. Panthers defense needs to be astute. Avalos. Desgardins. Poor touch from him. Connor Kildee snuffed it out immediately. Sideline needs to get it away. Panthers now with a little bit of breathing room. I used to seeing Glynn make mistakes like that, but certainly the Panthers got away with none. As Slater's ball in, not the finest of quality for the Poets.
Glynn being able to take a breath of relief there. Like you mentioned, again, has had a pretty solid start to the season, trying to get it back on track.
Liveline shepherded towards the corner by Avalos. Transfer from Monterey Peninsula College. Now in his senior year, he's already earned the trust to become a captain of this Whittier squad. Ball got knocked around. Rowan Slater was the last one to it, as he had a good opportunity in on goal. Let's take another look at it on the replay. Takes a bounce. You hear no bounce from coaches quite often growing up as a soccer player. That's a worst nightmare if you're Eddie Carrillo, seeing that one go through the entire defense and onto the top goal scorer's head for Whittier.
Whittier, they're finally able to apply some pressure, and that's the momentum they might just need to be able to break run through. They almost did there. Of course, Slater, of course, at the helm of that play.
Poor pass from Harrison. Wells couldn't quite track that one down as Gilmore there to step in. Gilmore. Avalos. Surveys now played out. Adams still fighting for it with Harrison now towards the middle of the park. Kildee. Adams, 4 white shirts here on offense for the Panthers. But nothing there against Anthony Dulce.
Adams, another one of those freshmen for Carrillo that has been a name for himself so far through 7 games. 2 goals, 1 assist. Again, another unsuspecting part of this offense that career hero has been able to go to.
Oh, a poor pass once again from Ben Harrison. Fortunate that it took an unlucky bounce off of Leo Wells if you're a Chapman fan. Valo shields away from Kobe Lee. Ball in behind Rowan Slater, just a tad offside. Nice bit of fist bump from Wesley Jackson as he played that offside trap perfectly to the inch.
Without a doubt there, Nico. Wesley Jackson, of course, coming off that great game against Laverne just a week ago, was named the MVP of that game for his performance. Slow start today, not a lot of touches on the ball, but definitely a nice play there to get the ball back in the hands of the Panthers.
Former starter for Emerson during his freshman season. Came back to Southern California and has played with the Panthers ever since his sophomore campaign. Line. Back out for Galvin. One of our key players of this game. We'll get a quick stoppage. Can't quite tell exactly what happens. The near-sighted linesman is pointing to something that is beyond what we're able to see down there. A little bit of juggling from Alexander Netrubchuk as we wait to get underway once more. See two subs getting ready to come on for Shea Harwell. And a bit of information being dispatched from Niels Lindfors. Currently 2 shots on the game, 2 shots on goal. Yet to find the back of the net. No player to find the back of the net so far here at Wilson Field. Still not up at 0-0 for a tie that has been certainly between 2 high-scoring offenses all season long. Slater. Dulce, second on the team in points last year with 2 goals, 4 assists. Knocked away by Lee, and now back the other way, Oliver Adams. Breeze starting to pick up not only here in the booth, but also out there on the field. See how the wind changes how these players play on those passes. Good idea from Haley. Didn't quite have the execution to get it to Vasquez. As we're 25 minutes in, first substitutions to come in for Whittier. As Guillermo Ramirez, as well as Mikhail Neisheim into the game for Kevin Bravo and the aforementioned Niels Lindfors, freshman out of Sweden.
Neisheim through 196 minutes on the year, has 1 goal, 1 assist. And for Guillermo, he has yet to really truly make much of an impact. Again, freshman, only 3 games, only 51 minutes played. Let's see if the sub can make a name for himself in today's game.
Ball in behind. Whittier, great opportunity for the Poets. Neisheim. Strong left foot coming out from Alex Glynn. Substitute almost making an instant impact off the bench. Slater lines it up through the uprights, and the move goes awry for the Poets. That's a bit more like what we want to see from Shea Harwell's squad trying to go forward.
Absolutely. Like we said, they have to begin to start playing aggressive. They've done a great job of doing so throughout the start of the season, have yet to truly make that same effort today. They finally get one through. Again, like you said, that sub almost making an immediate impact. As another sub here comes in for Chapman. I believe that's Evan Crownfield now down on the field.
Evan coming in for Evan Crownfield, the one on Evan White, the top goal scorer for Chapman coming off. You mentioned Evan White earlier, 4 goals this season, but has not scored in quite a while. 3 of those goals coming in the first 2 games for Chapman, both on the road. That was a loss against Wheaton, a draw against DePau. A little bit of beach volleyball in the middle of that park, and finally, out to the feet of Rowan Slater. Was eyeing up DeGarden on that right wing. Wells takes a tumble. Slater in on the fray. Tension has died down a little bit so far, Mike, but once that first goal goes in, feels like the lid's about to blow off this pot here in the first half.
Without a doubt, Slater involved in a couple of scuffles. That one, not really a scuffle, but more of just, an accidental fall down there. But without a doubt, once there is pressure on one of these teams to score, it will be a time bomb before one of these players goes off, especially, again, with their recent history.
A little too much mustard on that pass from Dulce, trying to find DeGarden on the outlet. A few more subs coming on for the Panthers as well as it looks like the Poets. Let's start on the Chapman side. Dylan Payne, who got the first goal against Cal Lutheran, a beautiful counterattack chip. Comes into the game for Kobe Lee. Oliver Adams, another freshman to come out, this time for Diego Perez, who has 1 goal, 1 assist on the year for Chapman. Perez, another one of those incredible sophomore talents in a phenomenal sophomore class that Eddie Carrillo had. Getting big minutes in year number 1 and expecting to be leaders on this team in year number 2 already.
They have to. They have to be looking for those leaders in the youth. Again, some of these key parts of that offense, and the whole team in general, like we've talked about with Cormac, like Alex. They're going to be gone at the end of the season. They need some of these younger guys to step it up. And Carrillo needs to see who's going to be their key players moving forward after this season.
Slater, a bit frustrated, wanted to go quickly. It looks like Slater might actually be taking a seat. As into the game for the Whittier Poets, Bobo Anderson, another one of those Swedish internationals. Jack Bourne, as well as number 35, or excuse me, number 39, Fabian Gluck, coming out of Norway. So triple substitution in for Shea Harwell. 5 substitutes already into the game for the Poets in this first half.
Harwell hoping to find some better fortune with some new pieces on the board for him, including, of course, as you mentioned, Fabian Gluck, who made his first shot of the season this past Wednesday. So hoping that streak, his could continue into this game.
Already getting in on the action, snuffed out by the Chapman D. Line. Payne with a flick on. Neither Wells or Perez too close to that one to retrieve. As we approach the final quarter of an hour here in the first half from Wilson Field. Nico Schwegler alongside Michael Herrera. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning here with us at Chapman University. Heinstrom. Cut away. Look. Vasquez. Took a tumble and Perez just didn't have enough speed on the acceleration, but it does go out for a Chapman throw.
Perez so far with 9 shots. One of them coming on goal this season. Does have a game-winning goal. Again, another piece of that youth movement. Carrillo trying to find his pieces for the future.
Definitely something that took us by surprise last year, seeing how big that class was. We knew that he was trying to get an influx of freshmen and new transfers into the team. They certainly made their mark in 2024, helping to guide this team to a SCIAC tournament final. Now in 2025, they're trying to recapture the whole thing for the first time in 3 years. Wells Snuffed away by Connor Gilmore, who's been a fixture in Shea Harwell's squad ever since his junior season.
Mark's trying to give some direction, trying to get involved in the action. Hasn't had a lot to do on his hands so far here. In this one,
took a little tumble. No foul as Ben Harrison was clean to it. Ramirez. Galvin not losing the foot race this time, but got a little bit caught underneath his feet as he was trying to guide that ball forward. Instead goes out for a Whittier throw. Nice time. Took a shove in the back. No foul. Called by Alexander Netrubchuk. Certainly looked like there was contact. Let's take another look, Mike.
I mean, without a doubt there, just a push. Again, tension starting to boil over as we're still reaching 12 minutes in the half with still no score.
Definitely looked like those arms got a little bit extended. Alex Vasquez a bit fortunate there. But perhaps that's the type of game we're in for, the refs allowing these two top teams to play it out. Galvin was eyeing up the recently substituted on Brian McKinley. Another one of those key sophomores. Nice time in behind. Glynn comes out to meet. Offside flag does come out. If that had been onside, the Poets staff up in arms claiming for a foul against Glynn.
Glynn with a nice save there at the end of that play. Obviously happened after the card was pulled, but still nice to see him getting involved in the action. You want to see Glynn feeling better about his game.
Senior out of La Jolla, allowing just over a goal and a half so far on the season. Galvin, long ball down the side. Looked like he was trying to find Diego Perez on the right wing. Instead, it drifted a little bit too much towards the middle. Cut out by Vasquez. Perez. Touch right to the feet of Guillermo Ramirez. Cut away by Gilmore. And the ball over the top from Nicholas Coop Jr. coming out of La Miranda, California.
Coop hasn't had a lot of action today, barely getting into the thick of things here in that play. Has played in 7 games so far, hasn't made 3 goals through 10 shots. Does have a game-winning shot. Could be a sneaky piece here for the Poets offense as we head down to the final 10 minutes of the first half.
And a fresh sight to see for Eddie Carrillo. Leo Wells coming out of the game for the freshman. Enzo Lopez has not played the past 2 games, last played against Caltech. That was Chapman's SCIAC opener that got their 3-0 start kick-started. A 2-1 win over the Beavers. Dulce. Lofted in, off the chest, and Cormac Galvin had to be quick with it. 2 Poets collide in on Dylan Payne.
Payne so far this year, 6 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist. Again, came in as a sub early on. First true piece of the action here today on that last play.
Galvin. Ball down the far side. Payne got to it first. Chapman still with the high press. Gilmore. Had to be a bit acrobatic on that, not acrobatic enough to stop it from going out for a Chapman corner. With under 10 minutes remaining, a good opportunity here for Diego Perez and company to get on the score sheet first.
Truly one of the only opportunities we've seen for this Panthers team has come from these kicks.
Ball lofted back. That was Lideline at the back post. Nice time dragged down. Nothing. Shea Harwell wanted a foul.
You can see Harwell a little bit up in arms down there about the lack of fouls in this one. Tension certainly growing on, not just on the field, but on that bench as well.
Haley to throw. Ball will go out for a goal kick. And with under 8 minutes remaining in this first half, for both of these teams, what are you looking forward to in the final 7:40 as they try to get on the score sheet?
What we've seen in these past few 10 minutes is, again, a lot of that back and forth, a lot of that midfield play. If one of these teams really wants to take a commanding momentum shift, they've got to just keep the ball for a majority of this time left. Even if it doesn't end up resulting in anything, they got to keep applying pressure, make the other team a little bit more fatigued.
A few more starters out there for the Panthers currently than the Poets. Substitution to come in for Eddie Carrillo. Ben LeClaire, another one of those sophomores coming out of El Dorado Hills, is making his way. Alex Vasquez, who's been a consistent starter in year number 2 for Eddie Carrillo, putting in over 70 minutes a game on average. Vasquez, a player who didn't get much playtime last year, but certainly came into camp ready and earned his spot in that starting 11, making his 8th start of the season today.
Absolutely. Not only has he proved to be a key part of this defense today, but a key part of the tension. Of course, we saw that last play that he got involved in that did not result in a foul, but truly making a name for himself for all the right and the wrong reasons here today on the field.
Dulce's throw. Jackson snuffs it out from the beginning. A few loud whistles going on behind us at Z Allred Aquatic Center. Mentioned it earlier, water polo. Also currently having a game here right now. Looks like that might be Pomona Pitzer, not quite sure. I should double check that. But a lot of these teams here at Chapman University, as well as around the SCIAC, beginning conference play this week. The sophomore Heinstrom. Ramirez. Didn't quite add it up as he let that ball roll. Instead, it rolls all the way past the byline.
Ramirez continuing to get involved in the action. Again, one of those young pieces on this roster. A freshman on this roster. We talk about the youth movement for the Panthers. You also got to talk about it for the Poets. A bunch of these freshmen, a bunch of these sophomores trying to make a name for themselves. And Ramirez obviously trying to do so in this one.
Perez puts in a hard challenge. Still with the Poets. Nice time. In behind for Ramirez. Would be offside regardless. I believe that's the 3rd offside already against Whittier today. Fantastic job from the Chapman back line so far. Wesley Jackson, Cormac Galvin in constant communication, keeping that line on point.
Without a doubt, those two seniors that are leading this line. Again, a key point of just a theme for these two teams has been leadership, and those two leading that line has been the key part and exactly what Eddie Carrillo has needed this season.
Final 5 minutes here from Wilson Field in the first half. Still 0-0 as neither team has quite hit the mark. Cooper Haley earning a free kick for the Panthers. Will be at about the 30-yard line on the gridiron.
Haley with a shot here to turn this game upside down. Shot to get his first goal on the season. And a shot to put some life into this place.
Neither fan base has had much to cheer about so far in this game, with 42.5 minutes removed. Haley's ball. Niceheim. Excuse me, that was Gluck. Takes a deflection. Out for a Chapman corner. Neither goalkeeper has had the challenge quite yet, but certainly both of these defenses need to be on edge for these final 3 minutes.
Absolutely, both as the clock winds down. What's going up is these players' aggression, trying to find some momentum. Marks and Glenn, as you mentioned, have not had a lot of stuff on their plate today, but will certainly look to have some here in these final 3 minutes.
Evan Crownfield to take. The in-swinger Marks leaping like a leopard up into the air, and the counterattack is on. Snuffed out by Cooper Haley. How good has he been all day long? But a good clearance from Anthony Dulce back to his keeper. Knocked ahead, Guillermo Ramirez. Niceheim also ahead of him. Ramirez into the box. Cleared away by Chapman for the moment. Final 2 minutes of this first half with Heinstrom. Payne. Haley a little bit hobbled up after that last challenge.
If you're a fan just watching this game, obviously you hope he's okay. If you're Carrillo, again, not only has been a key piece of this offense, he's been playing a great game of D so far too. So you definitely don't want to see him out for any period of time here, especially as the half winds down to its final minute.
Final 75 seconds to be precise. Been a defensive masterclass from both of these teams in the first half. Whittier 6 shots to Chapman's 5, but 3 shots on goal for the Poets, compared to 1 good opportunity from Kobe Lee about 10 minutes into this game. Dulce blazing forward with pace. The Poets have numbers going forward. Niceheim would have been offside regardless. As Alex Glynn can hold a little bit longer. Glynn took a body. The Panthers cannot believe the call from the Trebchuk.
And it looks like that call is what's going to take us down to the end of that first half.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Been a low-scoring affair. In fact, no score at all through the first 45 as Chapman and Whittier knotted up at 0-0 apiece. Cooper Haley and company trying to find the breakthrough to get their 4th straight SCIAC win to open up 2025. Whittier still looking for their breakthrough to stay undefeated here this season. It's been back and forth so far, Mike, but both of these teams have impressed on defense. How can they get the offense flowing in that next 45?
Like we've mentioned, like I'm going to keep mentioning until something finally breaks through. They've got to get out of that midfield, Nico. You mentioned it yourself. Simply put, this defense, some top of the defenses in the league, they need to be able to provide some opening for their offense so that someone can finally break through and get the score on the board.
No doubt about that. This top defense from Whittier, 3 goals allowed all season long, led by Jake Marks in goal, has done another fantastic job here today. As for Alex Glynn and this defense, led by Cormac Galvin, they're looking for their second clean sheet of the season, trying to keep things the same. As for these offenses, who can we look forward to in this second half on both sides to try and find that breakthrough?
You got to just find a way to get past them. I like how you mentioned Glynn, Galvin, and Jackson leading that course, not only the seniors leading that defense, but a defense going up against the top defense here. If they can provide a way for these Panthers to break through against, again, like what we've mentioned and what we've been highlighting, the top defense highlighted by Jake Marks, as we mentioned, who hasn't got a lot of playing time today. Maybe in doing so, getting him off his guard, getting him a little out of the game, might be able to do something and get a goal in the game and then get a ball in the box.
No doubt about that. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Kobe Lee with the best opportunity of the day so far for the Panthers. Forced a big save from Jake Marks. Alex Glynn got a little bit caught up there, as that was Niels Lindfors, who had a big impact on this first half. 2 shots on goal in the first 45. Another save from Glynn. And he's been one of the standout players so far, as this game got a little bit chippy down the stretch. Chapman with no fouls called on them. We saw that one from Alex Vasquez that went out for a goal kick instead of being called a Whittier free kick on the byline.
That is something you're going to want to see. The Chapman Panthers team that has had a little bit of a struggles with fouls so far. But hey, that defense has been amazing. Like you said for Glynn, a guy who you want to see doing better, a guy you want to see be more motivated, having a great start to his game, and we'll see how he continues in the second half.
This team has gotten a little bit chippy down the stretch. Both these teams still looking for that final breakthrough to put themselves in front, as we'll send it down to Violet, who has a little bit more with one of the players.
Hi guys, I'm down here at the field at halftime, and we've really had a passionate crowd out here as we've seen these 2 great defenses really just battle it out. We've been watching this midfield chess match, and I'm here with number 6, Isaac Storms, who has really been vocal with his teammates. You haven't even really sat down, you've really been talking with them. Tell me, what have you been telling your teammates throughout this first half?
Yeah, I've just been trying to tell our teammates, especially in the midfield, we got to keep making more dynamic movement. We just need more movement off the ball, I feel like, and we need really more energy and intensity coming into this first half, especially going into the second half. We definitely need more intensity because that's what's lacking right now, and I feel like we're just kind of jogging around a little too much, and so we need to be able to come in with more dynamic movement, more intensity, more energy, and be more vocal, especially communicating off the ball, on the ball, and then really finding ways to connect to our final third.
Right, exactly. And what is the energy on the sidelines right now?
I mean, I think everybody on the sidelines really pumped up for the most part. Everyone wants to win, and I think we can all see those mistakes that we're kind of making right now. So we got to find ways at this half to correct those mistakes and really find ways to improve and come into the second half with a win.
Perfect. And what do you think, finally, my last question, what do you think is the key to success going into this next half? What do you think you guys are really going to focus on to try and move us forward past this defensive chess match?
I think it's really going to be the energy and the movement off the ball. I think that's what we're lacking right now hugely, and we really just got to find ways to connect to our final third and create those attacking opportunities to go to goal.
Right. Thank you so much. That's all we got time for right now. This is number 6, Isaac Storms, and we'll see how the rest of this game plays out. Back up to you and to Michael and Nico in the booth.
Appreciate it, Violet. Isaac Storms, transfer out of Puget Sound last season, yet to play this year, but always a vocal leader on that bench. Certainly mentioned it. This chess match on defense, they need a little bit more dynamic movement in that midfield. Certainly need to see a little bit more of that from Cooper Haley, Connor Kildee, as well as some of those substitutes going into the next 45, Mike.
Absolutely, not even just more dynamic movement. Like he mentioned, more intensity. You want to see, obviously, there's tension, but that tension hasn't been motivating enough for either team, as you can see here with these halftime stats.
Absolutely. 6 shots for Whittier compared to Chapman's 5. 3 shots on goal, though, for the Poets being the big difference. Kobe Lee, as we mentioned, with that one big opportunity. But those 5 fouls, we saw it get a little bit chippy towards the end of that first half. A few non-calls that maybe should have gone against the Panthers. Poets getting a little bit frustrated with what we've seen out of Andrew Netrubchuk in the midfield as the head referee. But certainly, we'll see how this game continues to progress, especially on the officiating side.
Absolutely. You've seen the Poets been able to use that intensity, the lack of fouls in this game, to be able to use it as motivation to be more aggressive down the field. And from the Panthers, again, you've kind of been seeing a lack of aggression here a little bit, and that's exactly what Isaac Storms is talking about. You got to use that tension, you got to use that drive to stay undefeated and get a win out of this one.
No doubt about that, Mike. Those are your first half stats, excuse me, as we'll send it off to a quick break. Nico Schwegler alongside Michael Herrera. That's been the first half. Still tied at 0-0 here at Wilson Field. Chapman looking for their breakthrough. Same thing with Whittier. We'll see if they can stay undefeated. Coming up right after this.
for the title. No time to idle. I'm finna get it, put that on the Bible. This is survival. Gotta treat every movement like the final. One by a mile. Nobody believe it, they all in denial. Look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since Auto. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out and flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the crash, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Shows they paging. Hey, best keep distance. All of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness. No, I don't need no assistance. Yeah, I'm playing it safe. I said let's get it. You say not today. What can I say? You ain't gon' go for it. Get out the way. Yeah, got no time to waste. Can't be with me if you're not at my pace. You're not at my level. You're not in my race. Foot on the gas.
45 done, 45 left to go here from Wilson Field. Nico Schwegler alongside Michael Herrera. Violet Goody down on the sidelines. This game still knotted up at 0 apiece. Neither team able to find the breakthrough. Both goalkeepers, not a super eventful game, but when they've been called upon, they certainly answered the bell, Mike.
Absolutely, Nico. They've been used more as a resetting point more than actually getting involved in the action. But like you mentioned, when they've been needing to, they've been there. Glenn, obviously, the big storyline of this game for the Panthers was wanting to see him get more motivated, wanted to see him just do better in that box. Had a solid start to the season, but still trying to do better for the senior in his last season, and that's exactly what he's been able to do today.
As you mentioned, good start for Alex Glynn. Coming off 3 straight games with a 2-1 win, allowed goals though in all those games. Still looking for clean sheet number 2 on the season. Played a half against Life Pacific during Chapman's 5-0 win, their biggest one of the season so far. As for Jake Marks, he's looking to keep goal number 4 out of the net. He has been phenomenal all season long with only 3 goals allowed, and so far that record is still held true.
Absolutely. Going forward in this game, it's really going to be a tale of which goalie falters first, because that may well just decide the game with the way these offenses, the way these defenses have been playing. Just absolutely electric as we look to begin the second half.
Some of the starters back into the game for both teams. Leo Wells, as well as Oliver Adams of note for Chapman on the attacking front. Rowan Slater, the big addition to the start of this second half unit for Shea Harwell and Whittier.
Shea hoping that giving Slater a little bit of a break in the final minutes of this half would refresh him up enough for the second half.
Ben LeClaire getting the start here in this second half. Alex Vasquez playing a majority of that first 45 at the right back position. Both teams on hot streaks to enter 2025. Chapman the only team to win all 3 of their games so far in SCIAC play. Whittier, one of 2 teams alongside Pomona Pitzer to still be undefeated in overall play, 7-0-1 to be precise. Dulce coming off a season where he got nipped in the foot by Reed Lideline, coming off a season where he was second on the team in points, just behind Rowan Slater. Cut out by Galvin, as Dulce still on the ground trying to stretch out that ankle.
After that play, immediately fell to the ground, has yet to get up. Hopefully a breath of air is all he'll need for this one.
Foul goes against Rowan Slater. And Dulce still on the ground. Not a sight you want to see if you're Shea Harwell to begin this second half. You can see Isaac Storms, our very own Violet Goody, able to get an interview with him right before the interval. Storms yet to play this season after transferring from Puget Sound. Made his first appearances last year for the Panthers. But he's saying that this midfield in particular needs a little bit more movement and a little bit more dynamic play in order to get that ball forward. Who are you expecting to really take on that role in this next 45?
You got to look at two players here for the Panthers in Cooper Haley and Connor Kildee, who got a great hot start to the game as far as getting carries, getting possessions of the ball, but towards the latter half of the first half, simply cannot get anything through, cannot get their hands on the ball at all. So if the Panthers want to break through for this one, they're going to look upon their two key players in them, in Kildee and Haley, to try and break this one through.
Haley being an X factor ever since he stepped on campus for Eddie Carrillo. Connor Kildee not in the starting 11 to begin this second half in favor of Kobe Lee and Evan Crownfield. Also haven't seen Evan White, the top goal scorer for this team all season long, in quite a while for Eddie Carrillo ever since being subbed off in that first half. Touch off of Diego Perez, goes out for another goal kick. Jake Marks has had a quiet day at the office so far. Only Kobe Lee's opportunity in that first half, the true opportunity for Chapman so far.
Not only one of the true opportunities for the Panthers, one of the true opportunities in the game. Of course, you did see some pressure on Glenn, but that was the best chance that either of these teams had gotten.
Wells on the ball forward for Ben LeClaire. Still with Chapman on the throw at about the 25-yard line. Move it up to the 20. Perez. Cut out by Lindfors. He was a big X factor in that first half. Niels Lindfors, Stockholm native, coming out of Sweden. It's the first foul of the game finally called against the Panthers. Cormac Galvin sliding in against Lindfors.
Like you mentioned, Lindfors, to begin that first half, was electric, really aggressive, trying to get the ball almost every play. But like much of all of these players on the field and on the bench so far today, kind of had a slow end to that second half, wanted to be more aggressive in this one.
Desgardines drags down Reed Lideline. Good defensive play from the sophomore. Another one of these underclassmen to make a name for himself early in his freshman campaign, and that transition into his sophomore year has only been better from when he was in year one.
Absolutely. You've seen him be used as kind of a utility piece for Carrillo's line, obviously a main defender, but has come in and provided some good offense, not only, of course, like we mentioned in last year's SCIAC tournament, but this year he already has 2 goals.
Pomona Pitzer, Caltech, the other SCIAC contest going on right now, knotted up at 0 apiece as well. Be sure to tune in later at 1 p.m. as CMS takes on Redlands, last year's top 2 teams in the SCIAC facing off in an early season matchup. And finally at 7 p.m. when Chapman takes on Laverne football here at Wilson Field. Laverne will be hosting Cal Lutheran, who the Panthers beat on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Be sure to tune in to all games on Flow Sports for the SCIAC play. As Dulce, after that injury, able to shake it off, earns a foul for the Poets on that one. Getting a little bit chippier as we've seen. Tensions not quite boiling over quite yet like they were at the end of that first half, but certainly feels like you just need one big moment for the entire lid to come off this one.
You're exactly right about that, Nico, especially with this recent injury scare for Dolce. He's again, been able to stay on the field, still kind of hanging around, still kind of shaking off that ankle in some of these plays here. But like Storms mentioned in that halftime interview with Violet Goody, there simply has to be more intensity. And once there is, this, like you keep mentioning, this boil is going to top over.
Galvin. LeClaire. Crownfield. Poor touch from him, but Leo Wells got back in the fray, goes out for a Whittier throw. Haley, a long boot up the field. as it will make its way all the way back to Jake Marks. Dulce in behind. Niceheim was in there. Offside flag does go up. That high line once again coming to the aid of Chapman as Cormac Galvin and Wesley Jackson played it perfectly.
Good off to the side there, so pretty much essential and necessary that Galvin was in the box there to save that one. Or the Poets might have had a huge break to start the second half.
Glenn taking a few tries to get this one off, finally dumps it off to Wesley Jackson. As we mentioned in that first half, had the game winner against Laverne the last time Chapman played at home, which has been a favorable sight to see for the Panthers all season long, 3-0 to begin this year, as opposed to 1-2. They got their first win on the road against Cal Lutheran last time out. Foul against Diego Perez. Jack Heinmarsh was a fantastic player in that first half, played every single minute. Might be on course for a 90-minute complete game for Shea Harwell today.
Heinmarsh, one of the leaders in that club as far as minutes, 346 so far on the season. Yet to score a goal, but again, like you said, a key part of not only that defense, but like I mentioned in the first half, the assist for this Poets offense has been a pivotal part of what gets them going. And he's been a big reason for that as well.
Shea Harwell can't believe it as Kobe Lee got tripped up on the counterattack for Chapman. You see a little bit of contact. Did look like Linfors got part of the ball. Well, the game hasn't necessarily boiled over in terms of the tension on that. It has been a few of those calls from the officiating crew that have gone against Whittier that potentially could see this game get a bit chippier as it winds down the stretch.
Without a doubt, Harwell there, you can see on the sidelines, again, up in arms, continuing to yell at our main referee today.
Live line a little bit too aggressive with the Parisian de Gardine. Put in by Jackson. Quiet day for both attacking fronts. Nothing yet so far from Oliver Adams and company for Chapman. Adams weaving his way in and out. No foul, says the referee. Desgardines.
You got to respect the effort there from Adams. Looks like exactly what Stormers wanted his teammates to do. Fight with a little more intensity. He wants each player to be more aggressive, and we're definitely seeing that from the Chapman side so far here in the second half.
Brownfield invited to cross this one in to the feet of Adams. Perez. Crownfield had a look at it, cut out by Avalos, and now Rowan Slater back the other way. The senior captain has Niceheim in front of him in an offside position for now, but Slater, oh, what a tackle by Wesley Jackson. Obviously you want goals galore, but when a defender puts in a tackle like that, you can't do anything but tip your hat and give him applause.
I mean, Rowan Slater has been one of the key pieces not only of this offense, but just one of the best offensive players in the SCIAC overall this season. So to see this defense, especially a senior like Wesley Jackson get involved in the action there, if you're Eddie Carrillo, you gotta love to see that.
That's just been the type of game it's been all day. Defensive clinic from both of these teams.
With both of these teams' defense on point so far, it begs into question, what is going to be the cause of the first goal? Will it be a slip-up or just a great run by either of these teams? We won't find out there as the ball goes out of bounds.
Your ears, pleasing is verdict.
Haley. Takeaway for the Panthers, Wells. Space to run at Harrison. Put in front of goal, Jake Marks. No serious questions being asked by this Chapman offense so far as we approach the hour mark in this one.
Our recent sub here for the Poets. Niels DeGarden, one of the key pieces to this offense, is out. And they'll bring in Guillermo Ramirez, who got a lot of touches in the latter half of the first half. Hoping to see if he can pull through for these Poets team.
Lee wound up the shot, took a little deflection on the way there. Ben Harrison, another one of these captains now in his sophomore season coming out of Olympia High School in Salt Lake City, was there to make the stop.
So far in the second half, we've seen Cody Lee carry a lot of these drives, trying to make it through. He's been playing very aggressive. If you're Korea, you love to see it. But two, you got to use your depth here a little bit to free him up, because he's been triple teamed in his past 3 drives.
Once again, Wesley Jackson playing it to perfection. Cormac Galvin had to be a little bit safe, as Rowan Slater as well as Mikhail Neisheim were lurking in the area, but that offsides trap that Eddie Carrillo has employed in this game has been working to perfection to the inch in this one.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about offsides, that's the 4th one for the Whittier Poets and none for the Panthers. A trap that they've been able to set up every time and, like you said, execute it to perfection.
Wells with green grass in front of him. Line, good cutout by Ramirez, but still with the Panthers. Wells. Couldn't dribble around 3 Poets there. And the header redirected back into the middle of the park from Reed Line now at the feet of Evan Crownfield. Perez. His ball goes awry. Poets 4 going forward. Lindfors. Slater. Oh, and just over the crossbar. Rowan Slater had goal number 6 on the season in mind and just didn't have the quality finish to pack it off.
The best opportunity for the Poets so far, as we get another look at that, just above the netting there. If you're Slater, you got to be kicking yourself a little bit.
Slater, Neisheim, Lindfors out for Shea Harwell as a triple substitution comes in. Gluck among the notable ones to come in for the Poets, as well as Marco Rodriguez had the game winner for Chapman against Cal Lutheran on Wednesday. A lofted header at the end of the first half, and when I say the end, I mean final 3 seconds of the first half to put Chapman up 2-0 heading into the interval against the Kingsmen.
By the way, this game is going. We might be looking at a final 10-second play as well that could decide this one.
Oliver Adams had the game winner against Caltech with 1.5 minutes remaining. So certainly in the cards for a last grasp finish here at Wilson Field once again. Ball goes out for Chapman throw. As we approach the hour mark in this one, 2 more subs to come on for Eddie Carrillo. Connor Kildee, who started the game, comes on for Kobe Lee. Same thing with Evan White, the top goal scorer on this team with 4 goals this season. What are you expecting out of these 2 subs to make this impact in the second half?
I think Korea's trying to freshen up that midfield, as we alluded to in the beginning of this half. You got to get something changed up there. You got to get some new, fresh faces in there. Played again in the beginning of that first half, but kind of set out the latter half, and now they're back in. And if these 2 can provide a fresh air, fresh pace for Korea's line, maybe they can mix up this Poets defense, and they can be the ones to break through.
Jackson shoved down by Kevin Bravo. Nice crowd that's filed in here at Wilson Field. Lovely chill Saturday morning here in September as we head into spooky season not too far away in October. Got a lot of fun games, a lot of fun plans coming up here on CSBN in October, so don't go anywhere. We'll have those all coming up, including the big game next weekend, homecoming, as Chapman football takes on Redlands for the second time in 3 years on homecoming night.
You're right there. You mentioned the weather, which I personally thought would have been a factor into this game as far as fatigue if it was going to be sunny out, but it has been the exact opposite of that. You were wondering if fatigue would play a role into these defenses' ability to play so far in the second half, and it most certainly has not, as they're still going out and playing at the top of their game.
Jake Marks climbing the ladder to grab that one. Both coaches, a revolving door on that bench, keeping these units fresh. Heinstrom, one of those players not to come out of the game quite yet. Seems like he's full of energy still. Gilmore. Harrison. Wanted to find Ramirez, now Dulce. Coop. And a poor touch on the Travella from him. Sends it right back to Alex Glynn. So far, nothing quite cooking for either team in the pot, especially for the Whittier side. How can they get this offense going?
They got to utilize more of their depth, as we've seen here in this second half. A lot of touches by guys like Slater, by guys like Dolce here. Even Ramirez getting a lot of the touches. As you saw there at the end of that last play, Nicholas Coop getting involved. If Harwell wants to break out of this one with a win and end their losing streak against Chapman, they got to use the guys that Chapman doesn't expect.
Glynn comes out decisively to clear. And Leo Wells does well to bring it back for the Panthers. Adams. Ball over the top from Perez. Oliver Adams in behind. And straight into the hands. Chapman asking for a penalty as Adams is holding that right ankle. Take another look at it on the replay. Adams appearing to be okay. Big opportunity, arguably the best one we've seen so far from the Panthers in this second half.
Not only just in the half, but in the game there, a very good breakaway for Adams. Great effort, but simply, again, with the likes of Marks and the season he's had, could not get it through.
Once again, talking about that youth movement with Oliver Adams, the freshman, the sophomore Diego Perez supplying the pass. They've earned the trust early on in this season from Eddie Carrillo, and he hasn't shied away from going all the way down his roster sheet to utilize some of these players. Not a coach that necessarily is all in favor of seniority all the time.
And that's what you love to see, those guys that are considered depth, getting the pieces, getting the carries, and getting drives like that. If Harwell wants a shot at this game, he kind of has to take a page out of his opposing coach's book and use all the pieces he has to his advantage.
Long shot from Nicholas Coop. Took a deflection on the way back towards Alex Glynn, and we get restarted here. Oh, a little miss from Marco Rodriguez. Did well to get it away, and Evan White back on the prowl. Cut out by Avalos. Foot race, what a tackle from Cormac Galvin. First Wesley Jackson a few moments ago. And now his center back tandem partner getting in on the action with the slide tackle.
If the Poets want to break through something, they got to get past that senior duo that has simply just done an exceptional job, and that would be an understatement to say so far in this one.
Four black shirts in the box, a few lurking just beyond it. Bravo was asking a few questions. Direct answer from Alex Glynn to retrieve. Final 25 of this one here in orange. Still 0-0 between two of the SkyX best Both teams looking to protect undefeated streaks. The Poets looking to stay 8-0-1 on the season. Panthers looking to advance to 4-0 in conference play for the first time since 2014. In my notes, I wrote that down as the storyline title. Last time that happened, I was 9.
Really put things into perspective, doesn't it, Nico?
Everything's always a little bit about perspective. I was a little bit older when the Panthers last won the SCIAC tournament, however, in 2022. Certainly have their eyes set on that. Current senior class were all freshmen during that time. Garrett Linfelt, haven't seen him in a few games, being the main contributor now in his 5th year with the program.
Through 3 games this year, Linfelt only has 1 shot on goal in 103 minutes played, kind of as you mentioned, not getting a lot of play time. Coming in today as a fresh face for Carrillo's line. Hopefully he can provide something to get this offense going.
Einstrom. Galvin there to meet Bravo once again. Cormac Galvin, him and Wesley Jackson, what a tandem they've been all day.
Without a doubt. Talk about one of the reasons why this defense has been so good against one of the top offense in SCIAC. It's those two right there. Not only just being attackers all around the field, but setting up those offside traps like you mentioned. Been the real big plan for Korea's defense, and it's certainly worked out great so far.
Deflection off Ramirez. And Eddie Carrillo really exhausting his bench at this point. Feels like subs are coming in at virtually every single stoppage. Oliver Adams will take a seat as Dylan Payne comes back into the game. Cooper Haley comes into the midfield. Ben LeClaire making way. Marco Rodriguez will move his way out to the fullback position.
Carrillo trying to freshen up that line. Also trying to look upon some of his vets here to try to put something through.
I mean, we talked about the youth movement all game long, but it was Payne and Rodriguez, 2 seniors, who've been struggling for a little bit of play time, who got on the score sheet against Cal Lutheran on Wednesday. Could they be the answer to put Chapman in front and break the deadlock here in Orange?
Carrillo certainly hopes so.
Einstrom's ball once again sliced out by Cormac Galvin. Long shot just beyond the right post. Glynn had to take cover as it goes out for a Chapman goal kick.
Just past Glynn there. A great drive put together by these Poets, but again, nothing yet. As we're going to get to 20 minutes left in the half here.
That was a good opportunity from Fabian Gluck. He had the game winner last time out against Occidental. Both teams coming off 2-1 wins during the midweek matches. Vasquez. Jackson. Haley. Room to run for Lopez. Perez. Lopez left the ball behind him, and the Poets back on the prowl. Look. Out for Bravo. Bravo's ball in. Glynn climbs the ladder. And no dice for the Poets on that attack. Patrick Nolan was the one in on the play. Coming off his first career goal contribution, had the assist that supplied Gluck with the goal.
Nolan through 5 games played this season, has 4 shots, 3 shots on goal. He has yet to score a goal in his collegiate career. Again, primarily has been used as a sub, but a great effort there to try and put one through.
Rodriguez. Jackson being used as a deep lying facilitator. Evidently not his forte there as that ball sails out for another goal kick. Two more subs coming in. One for each team. Rowan Slater, the X factor on offense for the Poets all season long, in for Patrick Nolan. And Kobe Lee comes into the game for Diego Perez, who gets his first rest of the second half.
Both Lee and Slater were the main guys contributing to the drives here in the first part of the second half. Hopefully breath of fresh air is hopefully what their coaches needed to get back into this one.
Under 20 minutes here in Orange. Both teams yet to find the score sheet so far today. Heinstrom. Battle in the middle of that field, goes out for a Whittier throw. Lee's header. Back to goal with Jake Marks. If you're just joining us, Nico Schwegler alongside Michael Herrera, Violet Goody down on the sidelines. And a few good opportunities for both teams, and there you go. You're caught up with the rest of the game. Nothing on the score sheet quite yet, as both teams look to keep undefeated streaks going in this game. Another late foul call from Netrebchuk, the head referee. We have seen a few of those in this game, and for Shea Harwell in this Whittier side, it has to be a little bit frustrating when the referee allows that play to develop a little bit longer and then brings it back.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about 8 fouls for this Poets team, 5 for the opposing Panthers. And you definitely could feel like there could have been a little bit more on that Panthers side, even a little bit more on the Poets side. But you understand the frustration for this Poets team that is trying to prove that they are real contenders this year. And when they're getting shots taken away, well, you understand why they're frustrated, to say the least.
Five white shirts in the box. Connor Kildee lurking around the 20-yard line as Cooper Haley gets set to throw this one in. Cleared away by Bravo. Vasquez. And the Poets have numbers going forward. Decent ball that found the feet of Bravo. In behind for Coop. Lined up Slater. Oh, and how has he missed that one?
Fans up and arm here calling for a foul. But as you mentioned, just almost a perfect opportunity line up for them that they cannot execute well.
Niceheim was waiting at the back post. Not sure if he was in an offside position. But cannot deny that that was the first time we've really seen the Chapman defense caught out like that. And Rowan Slater, the man that you want on the end of that ball, just didn't have the finishing touch to put it away.
Talking about that defense kind of slipping up a little bit there. Even at the end of the play, you saw Glenn put his hands on his head in a little bit of relief.
Skying ball from Glenn. Ball opportunity for Whittier. Vasquez got a little bit caught out for the Chapman side. There's a nice play from Nicholas Coop, who went down after the play. Corner coming up for the Poets.
And what we're finally seeing here is this Poets team just consistently apply pressure. Of course, the ball did go back to the midfield for a little bit there, but back-to-back drives within a good minute or two span here. Poets hoping that this could be the momentum shifter that they need to stay undefeated.
Alex Vasquez, the first one to receive a booking today. Glenn with another nice leap. And while they may not be big saves, certainly he's played decisively, and that's come to Chapman's aid so far in this game.
Without a doubt, you love to see it. If you're Eddie Carrillo, you're looking at your senior who wants to keep getting better. Of course, as we keep mentioning, sorry to sound like a broken record here, but he's had a very solid start to the season. Not amazing, though. And when you're looking at a guy in your counterpart in Jake Marks, you want to be better than the guy who is racking up all the leaderboards here in the Sky Conference. And that's exactly what Glenn has been able to do here this entire game.
Under 15 left here in orange. Jackson being pursued by 3 Poets. Good bit of shield work, but Whittier will stay with it in the attacking zone.
We have seen a lot of that 3-man defense, that triple teaming work for the Poets so far here. Again, working that on the last play. And like I mentioned, consistently applying pressure here in the zone.
The redirect from Bravo, one of the shorter players on the field. Not able to get enough power on that one to challenge Glenn.
Bravo so far with 1 goal and 1 assist this season through 329 minutes. Again, trying to find anyone on this roster to break through. An exceptional defense for the Panthers.
Marks with the smart clearance to get it away from the pursuing Kobe Lee. So Chapman with 13 minutes left will make 2 substitutions. Leo Wells and Oliver Adams back into the game. The freshman Enzo Lopez makes way, as well as we'll see who else is going to be the one. Connor Kildee take the long trot all the way around the field. Junior made his 6th start of the season out of 8 games. Haley, another long throw. Rodriguez awaits. Wells at the back post. Cleared out by Avalos. Big challenge in from Wesley Jackson. Whittier fans liking that call. A few of the Chapman fans, who I assume are friends with Wesley Jackson, also liking the energy from the senior center back.
Could definitely tell not only the intensity on the field, but definitely has reached the bleachers here, has reached the seats. As we've seen, some of the fans here more up in arms than the players have been so far in this one.
And Galvin goes down hard. It looks like he's holding that right hand. And he will ask for the training staff to come onto the field. Galvin, seeing that the staff comes up, immediately jumps to his feet. We mentioned it in the first half. This guy tough as nails, and ever since he became a fixture in the lineup as a sophomore, he has been one to watch in defense, certainly has been all day today.
Without a doubt, as you said, even playing through that cast when he started this game, just proves how much of a dog he is there, trying to keep in his senior season, doing everything he can to contribute. And if you're a Panther on the sideline or a Panther fan out here in these bleachers, you're hoping that this isn't too serious, because this could be a heavy momentum shifter in favor of the Poets.
Galvin this season, the team high in minutes played, even ahead of Alex Glenn, who has been the starting goalkeeper every single game. 6 90-minute games this season for Galvin, including 4 straight. That includes all of the Skyac games they played. If you're looking at the schedule for the Panthers, you'll see that they actually lost to Laverne earlier this season, but that game did not count as a Skyac matchup. So that first win against Caltech a week and a half ago was the first time that they played in a Skyac game, hence their 3-0 record. As Galvin will walk it off, however, it does look like he will have to come out of the game Not a sight that Eddie Carrillo wants to see from his star captain.
You do wish all the best for Cormac Galvin, but going forward with your Carrillo, you're gonna have to find obviously someone else up to pair with Wesley Jackson to ride and control that D-line.
Adams, 1-2 with Lee. And Cormac Galvin is back into the game. The crowd loving his return. Rodriguez got caught up under his feet. Crownfield's ball in. Marks. Ball's got a little tangled up with Dulce on the challenge for the ball. But certainly a good sign to see. If you're Eddie Carrillo, seeing that your senior captain, who's been the leader of this squad all year long, come back into the game after suffering that injury.
Absolutely. You first, one, worry for his health. For the long term, two, you worry about the rest of this game. Who can he go to on the defensive side of things? And the fact that Galvin can just come back in after taking such a hit. Man, if you're Carrillo, you got to be loving this kid's effort, trying to do whatever he can in his senior season to make this one count.
Unfortunate that we don't get to see defensive metrics tracked here in Division III. Otherwise, he certainly would be one of the standout players in the SCIAC, perhaps even the country, with the way that he's played over the past 2 years in particular. Payne. Foul will go against Whittier. Dylan Payne wanting that ball to be played through. Had the opener against Cal Lou, one purple team looking for the winner against another purple team in the Poets.
At this point, when you're talking about fouls, like you mentioned, they're wanting to keep the play through. It's kind of a break of the momentum there. Not what you want to see if you're trying to keep the intensity.
Rodriguez. Back for Rodriguez and just beyond that left post. Good ball in from Cooper Haley, and the Panthers with a little bit more life, a little bit more vitality in their offensive moves entering the final 10 minutes.
Not only what we wanted to see from the booth, from the fans, but even the teammates as well. Going back to that halftime interview with Isaac Storms, he wanted to see more dynamic movement, wanted to see more intensity from this team, and that's exactly what they're playing with. Hasn't worked out for them yet, but you got to imagine something is going to break through.
Vasquez already on a yellow. He has to be careful as that foul will go against. Alexander Netrebchuk trying to keep tensions low. Certainly need to be careful though for Alex Vasquez. Do not want to go down to 10 men if you're Eddie Carrillo in these final 10 minutes.
You definitely do not. That would feel, at least for the Poets, probably the biggest momentum shifter of the game. And especially with under 10 minutes remaining, you do not want to lose another man to this already amazing defense that's been here playing here today.
Slater. Out for Dulce. Big block by Marco Rodriguez. Or excuse me, that was Alex Vasquez, who we just brought up. Knocked away by Haley. Dulce. Ball in behind. Glenn had to be safe. Kevin Bravo came flying in, and the Poets almost thought that they had the breakthrough.
Great movement there by Glenn to get to that little corner there of the zone and able to make that save.
No foul call from Netrebchuk. The fans up in arms with that one. The officiating crew at times being very lenient, at other times coming down with an iron fist. Ben LeClaire to come back in. Marco Rodriguez put in a solid shift for Eddie Carrillo. But clearly going for fresh legs, also going for a little bit more youth. Rodriguez, the senior. Out for the sophomore. Leo Wells was holding his head, a little bit surprised not to see a stoppage. Typically, any time that there is a head injury, an immediate stoppage will come courtesy of the referee. Good to see Wells back on his feet, though, as he'll look to close out this game for the final 8 minutes. Avaldos. Alex Vasquez hit the pitch hard. Wesley Jackson, Cormac Galvin currently clearly not happy with the play of Kevin Bravo. Fans clearly up in arms. A few of the brothers from Pi Kappa Alpha supporting their fellow brothers Cormac Galvin, Wesley Jackson out there on the field. But all concerned for Alex Vasquez. Don't want to see a key player like that who's been phenomenal in his sophomore season take a tumble like that.
Things certainly starting to get more chippy here. Even after that play ended, you could see one of the Poets up in arms at the ref. But we're just happy to see Vasquez stay on his feet and stay in the game here.
Final 7.5 here from Wilson Field.
Once again, some more back and forth in that midfield. But now the Panthers trying to put a drive together.
Wells took a slide down. And the foul will go against Whittier. Good opportunity from midfield for the Panthers to strike one in. And another yellow card issued. This time to Osvaldo Avalos. Second of the game in quick succession for the Poets.
For a top defense in the Poets here, if you're Hartwell, this is not what you want to see. Some mistakes here by their line, giving way for a potential scoring drive.
Haley's ball over the top. Kobe Lee kept it in. Just cleared by Coop. Galvin went for the ninja kick. And now a few players tumbling, a few kicks flying. Everything's happening all at once. Wells goes down. Feels like we've just seen 6 players all hit the turf in quick succession. Take another look at this sequence. First Payne hits the ground, then Wells, then Galvin comes in, clearing out Jack Bourne. Vasquez makes way. As for the first time today and with 6.5 minutes to go, Austin Hall gets his first playtime of the game in a big spot for the Panthers. Cooper Haley chatting it up with a few of the Whittier players on the bench. Dylan Payne doing the same with his defenders.
Carrillo trying to do anything, trying to give anyone a chance to break through in this one. Just been heavy, heavy defense on both sides. A great game that we've been seeing today.
Advantage played for Whittier. Wesley Jackson, another strong tackle. Dulce. Knocked away by Galvin. Piercing kick from Cooper Haley. We're still early in the season, a little bit in the middle part of the season so far, but both teams playing with a little bit of desperation, trying to keep these undefeated streaks alive. Ball whipped in from Dulce. Alex Glynn comes to fetch.
And he's just out there, immediately gets rid of the ball. You can certainly feel not only the intensity, but just the readiness of everyone trying to get things going as fast as they can here, trying to look for a game-changing drive.
Another emphatic tackle from Cormac Galvin. Him and Wesley Jackson in tandem. Give them both the MVP. They have been fantastic as a duo so far today on this overcast Saturday morning in September. Long ball up ahead for Payne. That pretty much feels like all Jake Marks has had to do in this second half is simply wait for the ball to come to him.
I was just about to say, Nico, that's like the first time we've seen him grab the ball in like a good 10 minutes.
Panthers defense needs to be on high alert. Cormac Galvin certainly has been ever since that injury. Lee, Payne on the turn, heavy touch. Taken out by Bobo Anderson. Coop, Lynn Force, ahead for Coop. Now it's a foot race. And welcome to the Cormac Galvin Invitational Track Meet. Galvin dragged down. Nicholas Coop cannot believe the call. He's saying that Galvin tugged his shirt on the way down. Can see a little bit of hand fighting all in a day's work for Cormac Galvin as he's been tough as nails once again.
Coop there, a guy that Harwell has been trying to get the ball to a lot in this second half. Trying to see if he can be the one to make the change here. And obviously, a little bit of a scuffle there at the end with Galvin. Leads to nothing. And it is once again Panthers ball.
Final 3.5 for the Panthers and Poets. Deadlock through 86.5. Can Cooper Haley and the Chapman Panthers finally get the breakthrough and start 4-0 for the first time since 2014? Foul goes against Dylan Payne. That's 4-0 in conference play, mind you. Panthers currently sit at 4-2-1 overall. As this result would stand, Whittier would stay undefeated as this would be their second draw of the season. They would move to 7-0-2 in 2025. Slater. Hall out to mark him. 3 white shirts come to retrieve. Kobe Lee finally able to clear. Kept in by Hall.
You saw Carrillo there taking a page out of Harwell's book, triple teaming the Poet Star player there.
Wells continues to get battered. That tackle, once again clean though from the Whittier side. As we approach the final 120 seconds in this game. Leo Wells absolutely dragged down, still being caught up with Anthony Dulce. And a little shove from Dylan Payne after the fact. This game has gotten out of hand now.
We've been waiting for it all day. When are these tensions finally going to boil over? And on yet another hit off on Leo Wells. We definitely see it boiling over there as some more players continue to shove each other down to the 25-yard line.
Cormac Galvin clearly upset. Yet to receive a card for his antics. As you see Ben Harrison trying to argue for Anthony Dulce's case on that one. Dulce also picking up a yellow card, and then you see after the fact cut off just before, but Dylan Payne a little shove that forces Dulce to the ground. 2 yellow cards issued on that sequence. For Whittier, a team that entered today with just 7 yellow cards on the season, already 3 today. As this has been their hardest fought battle of the season, maybe outside that one game against CMS. However, they did get on the score sheet to end 1-1 in that game. would be their first time getting shut out this season in 2025. Haley's ball in towards the back post. LeClaire. Expertly held up by Coop, but now back with LeClaire. And it goes out for a Chapman corner. Minute 31 left in this game.
A nice header there. If you're Harwell, you can finally take a breath there. A lot of momentum towards the Panthers, getting something together there. And that header ended it.
Eddie Carrillo not taking any chances with another yellow card for Dylan Payne as Connor Kildee comes back in. Patrick Nolan also back into the game, in for Nicholas Coop, who's been putting in an exhausting shift for Shea Harwell over the past half hour. Haley, line drive. Excuse me, that was Crownfield with the drive in on the corner. Clock is still ticking here despite it being a stoppage. Final minute 10 for Cooper, Haley, and Chapman. Lee. Nolan, expert touch away from Lee to open up space. LeClaire needs to be careful as Lindforest threw in a shoulder. And it will go out for a Poets throw. Tension's starting to boil over here at Wilson Field. 39 seconds left on the clock as a yellow card comes out for the sophomore Ben LeClaire. Whittier bench clearly unhappy with the antics of this Chapman side down the stretch.
LeClaire obviously getting into it near the 40-50 yard line. Could prove pivotal with just under 40 seconds remaining, as it gives the Poets a chance to come in with a walk-off kick here.
Cleared off by Haley. Final 30 seconds in orange. Clock is still ticking for Jack Heinstrom. And taken down from behind, LeClaire got clipped on the way down. Clock stops at 16. And you have to imagine at this point, Alex Glynn the one to take this one. Or instead it will be Cooper Haley. Delivered an expert long ball over the top to Reed Lideline, which was then finished off by Leo Wells to open up the scoring against Laverne.
This looks like it's going to be the last chance for either team here. And it looks like it will be Alex Glynn.
And Alexander Netrebchuk. A little ball adjustment from him as Alex Glynn, as you just mentioned, will be the one to take. Ben LeClaire, Kobe Lee, the only Chapman players not in the box. Could this be the first assist of Alex Glynn's illustrious Chapman career? Marks up to the mark once again. Whittier, final opportunity.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Someone needs to take it. Patrick Nolan boots it up into the air. And after the first 45, we were knotted up at 0. After 90, that's exactly how it stays as these two teams walk away from Wilson Field with the draw on their hands. Chapman moves to 4-2-2 on the season as their undefeated streak still stays intact in the SCIAC, but unfortunately can't move to 4-0. As for Whittier, they move to 7-0-2 overall as they look to continue their storied season near the top of the SCIAC. Mike, your thoughts right after this game?
If you're either team, you cannot be looking at this as a loss. If you're the Poets, you gotta be looking at this, hey, you know, you did not come out here, you didn't get a win, but you ended up putting a great game. Obviously coming to a 0-0 draw here against the Chapman Panthers. One of the better games we have seen in these past 4 years of matchups here. It has been an incredible showing of defense on both sides. If you're the Panthers, same thing. You cannot be too upset about this one here.
12 shots for Whittier on the day, 9 for Chapman, who were able to get 3 on goal. However, nothing quite yet to challenge Jake Marks, 6 shots on goal for the Poets. But really, it was the fouls and the yellow cards down the stretch. As you can see, 8 issued, 4 for each team as this game really started to boil over. We could sense it early in that first half.
Absolutely, we were waiting for it all game long. When is this tension finally gonna prove to this boiling point? And it did in those last 15 minutes of that game there. A few scuffles here and there across the entire field. Thought it could be a big momentum shifter to try to get some more aggression into this field. Ended up just being another storyline for this game. A great game that ends in a 0-0 draw.
Alex Glynn, his second shutout on the season. The Chapman defense with their second shutout on the season, as they can walk away with their heads held high for another hard-fought effort. As for Whittier, the first time that they've been shut out on offense in 2025, as they look ahead to their next game against Laverne, who swept them last year, outscoring the Poets 6-1 over those 2 games. As for the Panthers, they take on CMS in a SCIAC final rematch on Wednesday. Should be a good one that we have in store there.
Absolutely, you're looking at, again, not only just a great game that was here, but 2 great teams, 2 great games for next week that we're going to be able to see and getting to look forward. Like you said, that SCIAC rematch, that will be a true testament of Eddie Carrillo's Chapman Panthers to see where they are truly and how much of a threat they can be for another championship title this year.
Absolutely, championship aspirations for both of these teams, including the player who we're going to go down to right now, Violet Goody, standing by with Cormac Galvin.
Hi guys, I'm here with MVP Cormac Galvin. After an incredible game we just watched, we saw tension absolutely flying, crowd and sidelines going crazy in those final 10, as Nico and Mike talked about. And so we're really just going to talk, what was going through your head in those final moments as we were still 0-0 and fouls were flying and yellow cards were up in the air?
It's always a chippy game against Whittier. A couple of our coaches came from Whittier, so we really want that win. They were in second place before this, so we knew we wanted a result. We'll take a tie, but we were hoping for 3 points.
Right, and then you personally, even after all of those hits, you kept getting back out there. What was pushing you to get out there?
My team, starting off 3-0, I want nothing more than the best for our team and everyone around me, so I wanted to get that win, and I knew our best bet would be if I was out there the whole time. So.
Right, and even on this cloudy day, if there was one thing that was shining, it was that defense. Tell me a little bit about your role in that defense and how that went today.
Yeah, I always just try to be kind of our backbone, sprinting back and forth across the field to try to pick up what's left over. We gave them a lot of chances today, but I'm hoping that we can keep this rolling. No goals against us, and that's the best part of it.
Great, thank you so much. And just to wrap it up, you said keeping it rolling. How are you guys going to keep this momentum rolling as you go on in the season?
We've really been pushing hard work every day. Defense starts at the front of the line, so if we can get everyone to work hard all the time, then I think we'll do great.
Great, thank you so much, and you can go celebrate with your team. All right, thank you guys. That was really an incredible game we just watched. That was our MVP, Cormac Galvin, from our Chapman Panthers. Really incredible game that we had today. I'm sending it back up to the booth. Good night.
No doubt about that, Violet. Fantastic game that we just saw in store. Cormac Galvin. I mean, you look at those highlights. He was flying all over the place, even with the cast on the right arm. Someone that's not afraid to put his body on the line for himself, for his team, and they certainly got the result. Obviously, they want the 3 points, but certainly able to get a good result against a very good team.
Without a doubt, you go back to last week's post-game interview with MVP Wesley Jackson, and even today, the idea of this dog mentality, these guys wanting to get the big moments for each other, and that's exactly what's carried them throughout this season and what carried them through a great draw today.
How about that? 2 straight MVP interviews with 2 center backs. You don't see that very often in soccer. However, those 2 have been lighting it up all season long. Can't say that we saw the score sheet light up, but certainly the book was full. 8 yellow cards, as we mentioned. It gets chippy against Whittier, as Galvin mentioned, but certainly today a little bit more than most.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to realize, obviously, these 2 were rivals coming in just off of their history, but of like we mentioned in the pregame show, what they had to fight for today. Both teams coming in, trying to stay undefeated. Again, they walk out of here neither with a loss, but man, you wanted that momentum. But both proving, I think, at least in my opinion, that they are serious contenders for a championship title this year in the SCIAC Conference.
That last chance from Rowan Slater a few clips ago, arguably the best chance we saw all game for Whittier. That was one where they caught the Chapman defense out, and you thought that at the feet of number 10, that's going into the back of the net. Ultimately doesn't happen, and ever since then, it was just nothing but fouls, stoppages, maybe a little bit of extra yellow cards, a little bit of extracurriculars, and that's always the way that the game kind of goes.
Absolutely. Just like absolute beautiful defensive clinic here as we get a look at the upcoming games here for the Chapman Panthers team.
As you mentioned, As we mentioned earlier, Chapman facing off against CMS in a SCIAC final rematch. Big one for the Panthers, trying to come away with 3 points against their big rivals. Then they take on Occidental, a team that they beat in the 2022 final. Oxy off to a slow start, but certainly can always make a run. They've been arguably the best team over the last 5 years or so in the SCIAC. Pomona Pitzer has been off to a fast start. Same thing with Redlands and Caltech to round it out on October 18th. Definitely a big stretch coming up for Eddie Carrillo's squad.
Without a doubt, and this game a testament to truly what we can be looking forward for. Obviously, you want to keep that offense up in arms. You want to keep that offense going. We think they slowed down a little bit today, but as far as keeping things going, it's that defense. If they can play even with 80% of how they play today, Eddie Carrillo is going to be looking at a fine team going in throughout this entire season.
Absolutely. Still 15 goals scored on the season, 10 goals allowed. Their second shutout of the season. They're hoping to get on the score sheet once again this Wednesday. But that'll do it for us here in Orange, California. For our entire crew here at CSBN, our director, Daniel Kaufman, our producer, Lucas Patton, Violet Goody down on the sidelines, my partner in crime, Michael Herrera. I'm Nico Schwegler saying so long from Orange, where the Panthers and Poets end up 0-0 at the end. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we hope to see you at 7 p.m. as Laverne comes to town to take on Chapman football.